What is going on, everybody? ZachRC here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome along to episode number 3 of my F1 23 Driver Career Series for the Australian Grand Prix here at the Albert Park circuit. If you guys did miss either of the first 2 episodes, make sure to go check those out before you see this one. Get yourself caught up on all the action. Right, so going into this one, we had a few upgrades coming onto the car. So one of them for aero, one of them for chassis, and one for durability, but 2 failed upgrades, one for aero and one for durability as well. So I had to try and get those recovered for the next round. And we've got a rivalry to start as well. So our first rival in this career mode is Logan Sargent of Williams. So fellow debutant, he'll be our main target to try and beat this weekend. Jumping into qualifying then, into our first flying lap in Q1. Now last time we didn't get to show it because my file got corrupted last time around. In the last race in Saudi Arabia, we made Q3 for the first time and started P9 in the race, so looking to try and match that if we can, but it'd be quite difficult. Albert Park is quite a different circuit. So starting our first flying lap here and push on towards the end of the lap now, seeing where we emerge on this first qualifying run, looking to make it out of Q1 here for the second time, and we go P5 here off the start. So a decent first lap in all, as we pass our teammate Nick De Vries, who's had a bit of a poor start compared to us, and coming through now towards the end of the session. We're struggling right now, just under 3 minutes left to go. We're sitting P16, so just inside the drop zone, and crucially you see George Russell's Mercedes in P18 right now, so chances are he'll jump up the order. So we've got to try and gain a better time here to go higher up the order and get ourselves out of Q1. This time we miss everyone coming out of the pit lane so we don't get caught in traffic. So a good start to the lap there. Hopefully we can try and push that on as we've already gained a tenth or two by the time we actually reach the DRS zone. And coming through the final sector now, a minute and 40 to go. We are still sitting, we're sitting in P15 right now. We've come towards the end of it. I've got one of the cars right behind us, not quite sure who that is. Coming through the last 2 turns on the circuit, we're about half second up on our previous effort, and coming towards the line now at the last corner for the final time here in Q1, charging towards the line. Hulkenberg behind us there, he's running P13 right now, and over the line we go. It's enough for P8 in the running order, so great stuff there, and that should see us through the second round of qualifying. So Russell in the end goes fastest, and we sit there at the end in P11, so 4 places clear of the drop zone. Unfortunately, our teammate De Vries wasn't so lucky there, so he's eliminated from Q1 alongside Piastri, Guanyu Zhou, Alexander Albon, and our new rival Logan Sargent will start dead last of the race. This could be a one-sided rivalry in the best of terms as of right now. Going into Q2, another aim, quite unrealistic for us to actually make it out of the second qualifying session, go into Q3, so we have to do the best we can on this one lap we've got to try and save tyres in case things go awry during the race. So through turns 1 and 2 there, nice and easy, careful not to invalidate there. And as we come off the last corner now to complete that one and only lap in qualifying, charging towards the line here, I see where it puts us for the end of the start of the race itself. Over the line here, it's P11 as of right now, which means we've just missed out on making Q3, and we've come to the end of the session. It's P12 in the end. We get eliminated alongside Norris, Stroll, Hulkenberg, and Gasly. All in all, I'm satisfied with that starting position. I'm looking forward to trying to get some more points in during the race. Without further ado, let's jump into the Australian Grand Prix and see if we can continue this point scoring streak of ours.
You can hear the Australian fans roaring as they line the track here in Albert Park. Welcome to Melbourne, and the roar from the crowd can only mean one thing. It's race day. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 14 corners and 3.28 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles per hour. Close proximity of the barriers make accidents inevitable. Recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Bottas, Magnussen, Norris, Cohen, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Zhou, De Vries, Albon, and Logan Sargent. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And a warm welcome, of course, to my co-commentator here today, it's Natalie Pinkham. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen?
What a quality performance. The big question, though, is how does that translate on race day? Can they hold on to that lead? I'm also looking forward to seeing the different strategies in play today. Those who are starting on the red mark soft tyre are going to have a little bit more grip early on, but they have to make it count before the degradation starts to set in.
Okay, we've got that relief of having points on the board finally, so let's keep that form up and get another top 10 finish today, please.
finish in the top 10 and beat Logan Sargent. Those are our two prime objectives for the third round of the Formula 1 World Championship. This is the Australian Grand Prix from the Albert Park circuit, which always serves up chaos in its new layout, the second season in which they've run the new layout on the circuit. So here's our strategy for the race. And starting on the soft tyres, going to try and go about 7-8 laps on those and go 2 further stints on medium tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. We've seen how quickly the tyres can run out in these first 2 rounds, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the tyre degradation's like during the Grand Prix itself here. So going on now to the start of the formation lap, starting in P12 here. And I do like this. The AI a lot smarter here with their tyre choices, thanks to the tyre wear mod we're using here. So we've got several starters on soft tyres, a few of them on the mediums here in this opening stint. And we'll see a range of different cars running at different paces at the start. So I'm looking forward to seeing how exciting these first few laps can get. So charge towards, I say charge towards, we're more trundled towards the line, our grid spot, and now making our way into the grid spot for the start of what should be a very exciting third round of the championship. Running up alongside Norris, going to try and cut across him if we can, going towards turn 1. We need a good start to try and pull it off the grid slots. Quite spaced apart here in Australia, so the last few cars take their places on the grid. No more talking now, time for action. 5 red lights for the Australian Grand Prix here in Albert Park. And it's light start, foot to the floor, go, go, go. Not the best of getaways there. Norris gets away quite well. We're going to close to the right-hand side here. Going onto the grass there very slightly to avoid tapping Esteban Ocon as he charged towards that first corner. Norris, Ocon, Magnussen, but all go around us there. So down into back to P12 here and charging on the outside of K-Mag through turn 2 and on the exit getting clear of him. So up into P11 now. 1 place out the points and 1 place gain from the start. Not going to try and go through with Norris and Ocon through turn number 3. Too dangerous to go for that, given how the corner runs now. And try and go to the inside of Ocon though through turn 4. Didn't get enough of a run, so couldn't quite take the space that was available to us. So it's P11 for the moment. A decent getaway or not. I'll take that 1 extra place you managed to gain. Almost went on the grass at both wheels there in terms of trying not to hit Ocon. So after the last corner, to complete the first lap of this race and move on to lap 2 of the 29 and make up this Grand Prix. Ocon is chasing down Valtteri Bottas, is chasing down Lando Norris in the McLaren's had quite a good start. Going into turn 1, Norris runs a bit too deep there, goes over the curb. Bottas takes advantage, goes charging around the outside of turn 2. On the exit, they're going to try and take Ocon in the sort of kerfuffle this is caused just in front of us there. They'll try and go to the inside of Norris as well, goes 3 wide into turn 3. Very tight between us, no contact made. We're squeezed through the middle of both cars there, and we're up 2 more places here and pushing into the points and start chasing down the Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas. So up into P9 here, yellow flag behind us. That's our rival Logan Sargent already out the Grand Prix after just a lap and a half of racing. What has happened to the Williams car here on lap number 2 of this Australian Grand Prix? You see our teammate Nick de Vries go past him. A bit of smoke coming out of the Williams, then that's the telltale sign that Sargent is out of his first Australian Grand Prix. That'll make our rivalry a lot easier. We'll get a few good points against him to start off. So that'll put us about 4 or 5 points clear of him. On to lap number 4 now. DRS has been deployed and we're chasing down Valtteri Bottas. 4 P8, but Ocon's there behind us, giving us a good run for our money. Up the inside of Bottas, going into the chicane, nice and tight. That was very close, very risky to go for it. We've gone on the curves nice and easy, being careful not to go too wide on the curves. So up into P8 now, and chasing down George Russell and Charles Leclerc. But on lap 6, Bottas comes right back at us. DRS deployed on the outside. Our battery isn't enough to keep him behind us, so Bottas goes back through into P8, and Ocon threatening us once again for P9 in the order. A virtual safety car has been deployed, and we have to slow down here on lap number 6, and our teammate De Vries is out of the race. I'm not quite sure what's happened to him, but again, now our rival and our teammate both out of the Grand Prix this early on. I have to look at the replay of just what happened to Nick De Vries here, who makes his way out the corner and goes a bit too wide, then he's hit the wall, and De Vries has crashed the car here on lap number 6, and that's a very unfortunate way to retire as the car comes to rest, going just towards the DRS zone. Have a look at onboard. He's chasing down Oscar Piastri as of right now. And he might try to go to the outside, trying a bit wider to get around Piastri, and he's hit the wall as a result. A bit of a boneheaded move there, if I'm being honest. Unfortunate to see our teammate out of the race so early on. We'll have to keep on pushing though for AlphaTauri, try and get some points if we can. Virtual safety car now ending on lap number 7. We'll start working on chasing down Bottas once again. Green flag goes back out. We're back to racing. We've got a potential change of strategy here. Do we pit this lap or go one more lap on these soft tyres? Now, these softs haven't been brilliant in terms of wear over the first 7 laps or so of this race. We're really struggling on them, as you'll see in a few moments when we finish chasing down Bottas, who gets away quite nicely there on the lap. So we see we're almost losing the car going through the penultimate corner. So I think it's time to come in. We're going a lap earlier than expected. We'll have to go that 1 extra lap on the medium tyres as a result, unfortunately. But we'll try and manage them as best we can into the pit lane then for the first of our 2 stops in this Grand Prix. Norris in there behind us. He started on the soft as well, so he's coming into the pit. He's filmed the same thing as we did. In we go now for our first stop. Medium tyres going on the car. It's a 2.3 second stop. It's right far in front of Norris and McLaren as a result. So we're into P13 now, the highest of the cars who have made their first stops in this Grand Prix. Signs on the clear back there, so I think they've made their stops already. They pitted a bit earlier, or they started on the mediums, not entirely sure which is which. But away in P13, away to a decent advantage over Norris. On to lap number 9 now. our fellow compatriot in the McLaren is closing on us rapidly here. That McLaren a lot faster in terms of straight line speed than our AlphaTauri, and it is showing here. Norris closing in all the while, threatening us all the time as we go into the chicane. We're going to keep in front of him for the moment. I have to be careful not to go wide on the exit here. We're very close. We avoid the curbs completely. Norris uses them on the exit, gets a good run. We have to defend the inside here, going towards the next right-hander and charging into the corner we go. Norris on our outside, pulls alongside. We'll have to try and stay in front of him here, and on the exit we do just that, keeping in front of the McLaren and starting to continue to chase down Sainz to Leclerc. On to lap number 10 now, and Hulkenberg's out of the race as well. We gained several places off of drivers pitting, up into P8 again, but Hulkenberg out of the Grand Prix now, our third retiree within the first 10 laps of this race. What is going on today? Hulkenberg, you see a bit of smoke coming out of the car, same sort of issue as Logan Sargent, and the German will have to pull his Haas over and call it a day, unfortunately. So 3 retirees just like that, because we had quite a nice fight with Hulkenberg in the early stages at Jeddah last time out before that collision with Stroll, which brought him down the order a little bit. So Hulkenberg again, his poor run of form continuing here, bad luck for him. On to lap number 11 now, Alonso coming out the pit lane just right next to us there. Let's go out to avoid him, go onto the grass there. So a crucial area which could see Alonso and Norris come charging right back at us here towards turn number 3. Alonso closing in, we're going to be easy prey for the Spaniard here. He tries the outside, that's a very gutsy move from the 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin. We're going to stay in front of him just about. I think if you got any closer, we hit the wall completely there. It's a push further onto the lap. Alonso chasing us down here. We've gone wide there through the right-hander. He takes full advantage, takes his free pass, and goes dancing up the inside to reclaim the place. We have to use our DRS here to try and come back at him, but we've got no DRS. He was in front, so he was behind at the detection zone, so we stay behind him. He's got the DRS to his advantage, and Norris is closing in on us too. We have to be very careful on the exit of this next corner, and then we go way wide and over onto the grass there. Norris takes full advantage too. So that's 2 crucial mistakes that cost us 2 places here. Alonso already far away ahead, and Norris just in front of us here. Go very late on the brakes and almost run into the back, and that's the second time in 3 races now. We've almost run into the back of Lando Norris. It happened in Bahrain, and it's happening again here in Australia, and now Ocon's threatening us from behind on the soft tyres. So pushing on now to lap number 13, Ocon still there, giving chase to us. Yellow flag in front, we're still chasing Norris. Alonso got away to a 3-second lead or so. We've tapped him as he's gone way too early on the brakes as Norris. And that's Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari who spun out. So disappointment for last season's winner here in Australia, and Charles Leclerc there, you see on the replay, the lead Ferrari over Carlos Sainz on the exit of the corner. He gets too much on the throttle and spins out. Sainz goes charging through, and we see Russell there with him as well, and Leclerc now has to wait for everyone to go through. There's Alonso, and there we are coming through just on your screen now with Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon. Leclerc pulls the car over. He has to wait for everyone to go through. Puts him down to around P17, P18. Safety car deployed, lap number 14 here. What's happened? Sainz and Russell have collided, and that's a huge crash there. Lando Norris gets himself involved as well. That could be a red flag, and it is a red flag. For the first time on this game, we've seen the red flag be deployed, and we're in a great position now, thanks to the glitch that's been bugging everyone so far since this game's launch. We're now locked for P5 because the red flag glitch now means that the positions are locked regardless of race finish. So P5 guaranteed for us here after only doing half the race. The session has been stopped completely, so we're going to have a free pit stop here to change tyres. So this is the first time I'm seeing the red flag function being used. Of course, we'll have to have a standing start as well. So I have to sort out a strategy here. It's gone. Also, the plan is to go onto the hard tyres, but the game was not letting me do that for a moment, so I had to go through all the extra stints. But crucial stuff, that's a huge collision. We'll have to take a look at the replay at just what happened there between Sainz and Russell, because we didn't quite pick it up. We saw Norris go charging in, tried to move to the right-hand side, but there was no space at all. As a result, he's gotten compounded and got collected in this situation. So unfortunate for him, he's out of the race here. There we go, the hard tyres now confirmed. So we'll have to have a look here just at the replay of what exactly happens. There's Carlos Sainz being chased by Russell. He almost goes straight on there, and Russell tries to go around him, but the two collide. Alonso comes charging through like the pro he is, and what a move though to take the right-hand side as an advantage. And Norris tries to do the same thing, can't quite do it, doesn't quite have the skill of Alonso, and we go through narrowly on the outside to slow up quite a bit there. So moving on now to the standing start for the restart here on lap number 16. Get back on the way, lights out, foot to the floor, go, go, go. Once again, we've got a strategy change. The red flag's out immediately again. That's a very, very odd glitch there. Nothing's happened behind us. We've only been going for a few seconds, and the red flag's out again. So let's go for a second restart here on lap number 18 now. 5 red lights for this restart. 11 more laps to go, and once again, lights out, foot to the floor, go, go, go. Great getaway over Alonso there, charging towards turn 1. Magnussen there behind us. Where did he come from? We take Hamilton going towards turn 1. Had to go early on the brakes to avoid hitting anyone. Hamilton goes over the curb. Magnussen now in P3. Where did K-Mac come from on this restart? He was sitting there behind us after the first pit stops by a place or two, and now he's in third place. Perez and Verstappen getting away brilliantly there. Verstappen going a bit too deep into turn 3, so Checo stays right with him. Max in third, and we sit in 4th place now. On to lap number 19, Magnussen chasing down Perez. Might try and go for a move into turn number 3. Going through, and there's contact between them. And Magnussen is out of the race there. He's been hit by Perez. The VSC is deployed. We managed to get through just before it got deployed. So we're in P2 now. Perez, not much damage. He's not going to continue as he is. That was a hard hit there with Kevin Magnussen, who now finds himself out of the race here. Unfortunate stuff for Hashtag double retirement here in the late stage of this race. VSC comes to an end at the end of lap number 19. 10 laps to go. We sit in P2. I doubt we can hold these guys off. Perez, Stroll, Hamilton all behind us to get back to the green flag, to get back on the way for this one. Perez goes in the attack almost immediately here as he charges towards turn 1. DRS redeployed. That'll make his job a whole lot easier. He keeps in line through turn 1 and turn 2. Be very careful though. So we're coming back at us like a shot, like a bottle rocket as we charge on towards turn number 3 and pushing on now to lap number 21. Perez again still threatening us. Hamilton and Stroll are falling away here, but Checo is refusing to give in here as they make our way down towards that next DRS straight. Perez will have full advantage, the faster car and the DRS to his advantage too. He goes up our inside. It's probably the easiest thing to do is just give him the place at this point, because there's no point trying to fight him. We'll only do more damage to our tyres. You see the amount of time Verstappen's gained already. He's charged away and looks on course to take his third win in 3 here in this career mode. We now sit in 3rd place in the running order. Perez getting away very, very easily there, and we're trying to fend off Hamilton and Alonso's trying to take what will be technically an unofficial podium here, given that we were guaranteed to finish in P5 in the final results. On to lap number 25 now. Hamilton all over us, and Alonso not too far behind him. But half second separates all 3 of us. Going a bit too deep there into the chicane. Got onto the grass. Hamilton takes full advantage up into 3rd place. And now Alonso will be our main threat just behind us. We're going to try and close back on Lewis. We've got the DRS this time. We were just back behind him going into the detection zone. So just closing on him once more and trying to use what's left of our battery. There's not much left to use. Let's try and save it to some extent. So in terms of what's left. Bit too deep into the chicane. Missing the curb completely. Missing both curbs. Poor exit. Alonso gets an equally poor exit, so he stays behind us at the moment. But Hamilton is off like a shot as well, so he's there in P3, and Alonso there behind us, threatening in P5. Gone a bit too deep once again, and we almost got into the gravel. Alonso goes charging through, takes all the impotence he needs, and goes up the inside to take away P4. So down to P5 now, with a few more laps to go, so we are more or less going to finish where we started this red flag. Go on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. Hamilton comes to the pit lane, so it means at this point we'll end up finishing in P4 on track, but P5 overall given that red flag glitch, which unfortunately has robbed us of what could potentially be the podium towards the end of this Grand Prix had we managed to keep those guys behind us. As Verstappen now comes through the last corners, you can throw absolutely everything at him so far in this series. He's seen safety cars, he's seen VSCs, he's seen a red flag today. He's managed to come out on top over all of it by a dominant margin. You see Perez charge to the last corner there. Verstappen wins it down under as we come to the last corner ourselves here, charging towards the line. We've taken advantage of a fantastic scenario placed in front of us. It's P4 on the day. Fantastic.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, there was so much contact out there today. Absolute carnage, in fact. So our winner just did incredibly well to stay out of trouble. Very composed, very clean racing.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team.
Verstappen so far in the class of the field in this Australian Grand Prix, and for the first 3 races of this season, he's been dominant so far, winning each race by a significant margin. Leading back to the My Team stuff, he retired from 2 of the first 3 races. In this one, he's won all 3, so he's definitely preferring the driver career stuff. But all in all, so it's him in first, Perez second, and Hamilton in 3rd place. And we finish 4th on the road, but 5th in the final results.
Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Natalie Pinkham, come on, who do you pick?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Let's have a look then at the top 10 for this Australian Grand Prix. So Verstappen wins it, Perez second, Hamilton third in the end, despite taking that 4th stop at the end. Alonso 4th, we finish in 5th, Stroll 6th, Ocon in 7th, Charles Leclerc comes back to 8th, recovering after that spin. Albon in 9th, and Gasly takes home the final points paying place. 7 retirees overall in this race. Magnussen, Norris, Sainz, Russell, Hulkenberg, De Vries and Sargent. So all in all, these races have been more and more chaotic as they've gone by. So I'm hoping we don't see a race with more retirees than that. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Verstappen already a full race win clear of Perez. We sit in 9th place now, 11 points to our name, so 66 points behind the Championship leader. Not expecting to get any closer than that over the course of the season. And in terms of the Constructors' Championship, our points bringing us up to 6th place, 1 point off Alfa Romeo in the top 5. Red Bull still lead now by 69 points over Mercedes, with Ferrari 3rd and Aston Martin in 4th. So overall, you guys, that is the end of the 3rd race of this F1 23 driver career mode. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, share and subscribe. We're closing in on 2,000 subscribers and trying to get to that for the end of the year if we can. There's our rivalry to start things off. So once again, you guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been a brilliant start to this series. I hope you've enjoyed it and look forward to more. So until my next video, have a brilliant day and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.